80s and 90s people. I just had an argument with a younger person who was telling me the 80s and 90s were whack or something. And I was trying to explain to this person that the 80s and 90s were like the peak of civilization. I'm not even saying that tongue in cheek. I mean, it really was. The 80s and 90s were like the peak of civilization. You had this mix of tradition, manners, common sense, but there was also this rebellious attitude, like an authentic rebellious attitude, and a true not giving an F what people think. It was like in our bones. We didn't care. We had manners, but we also didn't care what people think. It's like this perfect combination of a gentleman and a rebel, a gentlewoman and a rebel. They don't understand that, okay? Liberals were sane. They were sane. They might push for welfare, but not socialism. They might push for equal opportunity, not equal outcomes, not equity. Conservatives were sane. They might have been a little stuffy, sure, but they genuinely cared about people and they weren't rabid nationalists. And here's the main point. Both parties were patriotic. And we knew where the fringe was, on the left and the right. And we kept the fringe. While they still had their free speech, we knew what the fringe was. We knew who the wackos were. We knew who the dum-dums were. We kept them on the fringe. Everyone agreed on colorblindness, capitalism, the Constitution. We all loved those. There was still room for argument and debate and so forth, but we loved those things. And you know what? We all liked the police. Everybody liked the fucking police. We hated crooked cops. We hated nasty cops. We hated, cops who were bigoted. We hated them. But we loved the police. We knew they protected us, black and white. Everybody disliked bad cops. Success was also admired, not hated. We loved successful people. It was part of being an American. We would, oh my God, Elon Musk in the 80s and 90s would be more popular than he is today. In the country, there was this sense of unstoppable greatness. You had to, it's like the 92 Dream Team that went to bar. It was like, yes, that's America. We had the tall skyscrapers. And that meant something to us because we liked America. We wanted America to have the biggest things and the best things. We wanted the best athletes, the best researchers, the best academics. We wanted to be exceptional, not to belittle other nations. We wanted to be exceptional because we brought everybody in. All the great people in other countries wanted to come here. So we wanted to show the world our ideology, our Constitution, our founding beliefs are superior, and we want you to adopt those. Our economic system is superior, and we want you to adopt those. And here's the thing. We knew it wasn't perfect. There are obviously problems in the 80s and 90s, but we knew we could be very good without being perfect. This idea that you have to be perfect, these newer generations have, it makes you want to destroy things that are very, 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 very good and noble and functional and working. You know what? The movies were better. The movies were better because we respected the hero's journey. We respected archetypes. We respected those. And a lot of the characters from the 80s and 90s had real depth because of that. You have to respect the archetypes. You have to respect the collective unconscious. The 80s and 90s did that. And the poor were known as underprivileged. That's when we use the word privilege. And when you say somebody's underprivileged, that elicits compassion. It elicits people to want to help. It brings society together. When you demonize the rich, when you demonize the successful, and not even the super rich or the super successful, when you demonize people based on their skin color, guess what you get? You get a return of the 60s, 50s, and 60s that we fought so hard to overcome. And the 80s and 90s were finally an example of what society could be like as you start to overcome prejudice. But you've brought prejudice back. I'm not saying the 80s and 90s had it perfect. That's not what I'm saying. Again, we were very, very good, but not perfect. Another thing is people could ask for forgiveness. People made mistakes, and America was known as the land of second chances in the 80s and 90s. And not just second chances, second, third, fourth, fifth chances. We were a very, very forgiving nation. And it was like, here, you can make a mistake and we'll welcome you back. Apologize, try to correct your ways, and we bring you back in. Right? That's how we handled things. I just have to say and end with this. People were so much happier. There was so much more energy for life, joy for life. Friendships were better. People were more solid. People were physically tougher. It was a different era. It was. And it was a better era. And there's no reason that future eras can't reflect the 80s and 90s and improve upon it. I'm not saying, I said it was the pinnacle. I'm not saying you can't improve upon that. You can. But it has to be like small tweaks here and there, and things can get better and better. But the 80s and 90s, don't dare put it down.